Hey guys, I am just crafting, testing my new streaming setup. So pop on by, say hi, but I am just going to be working on some elements to this album. So this is just a basic 6x8 album with a 2-inch spine that I created using some chipboard and some plain cardstock. For this particular album, I used the larger 12x24 cardstock. So I was able to just do a seamless cover on both the front and the back. And so now I'm going to just create some inside elements and to add to that. So I don't really have a plan for this, but I do have a ton of gray cardstock that I want to use that's left over. Well, some of it is left over, but I know I for sure want a pocket in there and maybe some other pieces. So let's hop right on in. If you're interested in the measurements of things that I use to make this, you can click on the link in the bio and you will be able to download this little cutting guide that walks you through step by step how I've got to this far. And now we're gonna move a little bit further. So I'm thinking I want to do like some fold out elements on here too. And I'm gonna try my best to keep the measurements pretty simple, like just half inch or fourth inch, not any of the more complicated like 1/8 and 3/8 and all that. While those are very precise, it just the math just really throws me off. So I am going to start off by, I don't know where my little ruler went, but I think I usually do a pocket here and then a fold out element here, and then you can add some like middle flaps to the spine. I'm going to use a kit that I got from Leo by mail. I ordered like her summer travel kit, so I'm going to use that here to document a family trip, little staycation that I just got back from with the family. So let me see if I can find my little retractable measuring tape so we could get down to business here. Okay, let's see. So my album is, again, the basic album is 6x8, and we can measure it just to double check. Okay. Haha, look at that, 6.5. So 6.5, probably by 8.5. Yep, 8.5. So that means that my pages, I would probably want to do everything 6x8 just to be safe. So let's go with, first I'm going to cut this down to the height. I want it to be 8, but if I want it to fold out just to start, I'm going to go with maybe a 12. That way it'll be double. And again, I don't have a plan here, but I'm just going to go for it and then let the creative juices flow. But I want you guys to just see how easy it is to add elements to this blank canvas that we call an album. So I'm going to just cut this down so that it does fit inside of my paper cutter. So again, this was just a large 12 by 24 piece of cardstock. But now it can cut down into, now it can fit in my paper cutter. So we cut it in half. So if I have this album, 6, I want to do kind of like a fold out piece, I think. So this would be in half. I'm going to score it at 6. And just so we can fold it. I'll trim down the other part in a minute. Let's just get the basic score down. See what we're working with. Okay. I didn't score very well, but there we go. Okay. Okay. So this will be here. And actually, that's not what I want to do. I want it to fold out. No, that'll be fine. Let's go ahead and trim this down to 8 just so we can work with our realistic dimensions. Save this because you definitely will use that later. So I have this here. This is, again, I want it to fold out. So when you open it, it folds out this way. So I'm going to just do like maybe a 1/2 inch score. Here, I'm going to do a 1/2 inch because I want it to really be secure to the base. Okay, so we're going to score 1/2 inch, and then what this will look like is it will fold out. Let's see. The thing about these albums is you can have it fold out whichever way you want it to fold out. So if it's going to fold out, it can fold out from here. This one's going to fold out. We can do it like this. So then it folds here and here. Okay, and then it'll cover that part out. So you see it'll glue here. When this is closed, it'll open. You'll just see this to start, and then it'll open this way. You can close it, and then it opens this way as well. So it's multi-sided. So that is one. I could go ahead and secure that down, or if we fold it under, if you want a neater finish, you will fold it this way, because ultimately you would end up putting a base sheet here, and then that would cover this uneven edge. Okay, so we can do that this way. I do need to trim this though, because this is gonna hang over. So let's just go ahead and trim this down. Again, I'm just kind of freestyling it today and testing my stream out. Been having some freezing issues, so I switched my setup, and so I want to just kind of feel and see how that's going to go, how my stream is going to be. Okay. So I'm going to trim this. I'm going to trim this down actually a little less than 6.5, just to give it some wiggle room. Okay. So now this can go either way. This way, this way. I like it. We're going to commit. Well, let's see. This will be this way. We can use these flaps as well. We could do it here. Let's add these real quick. I'm going to trim the edge. And then what I'm going to do is just score it. And for these, I can score like at a 4th. Okay. So for these, let's see. Just trim them just a little bit more. Right now they're measuring, let's actually just bring it down to 5. Okay, so then we can do one at the top and one at the bottom. So when they're in your album and they're securely glued down, it can go like this, where it'll close. You open this flap, you can have space here. You open this flap this way, space here for pictures. Then open this flap here, space for pictures. And then remember, this whole thing will also flip up, okay? So again, we're taking this basic journal, basic album, there's nothing there. And now we're adding some interactive elements to it, okay? You could also, if you wanted to do like a top flap, you could glue this flap here, okay? And then you have a top flap. I actually like that better. Flaps up. And then you could glue this one on the bottom, and then it flaps down. Let's do that instead. And we're still going to keep our journal like pieces nice and clean. I haven't crafted in over a week because I was on vacation, so all of my tools are clogged. Just change out my glue real quick. This clean and get a new nozzle. Okay, so we're going to apply our glue here because this is going to be tucked away. And you can center it. So then this element will flip up. And then this element will flip down. You use that to line it up. Doesn't have to be perfect. Okay. So then this can either just close over it, or you could open these flaps up, close this here, close this on top. You could even turn this into like a belt kind of closure that way. Okay. We could also, let's see, what do we have left over here? We have another 12 by 12 piece. We could do, what could we do off of here? Let's see. This is going to go here. Okay, and then you can open it here, here. We could also do something behind it as well. So if this piece is, and I'm just measuring from here to here, so this is about 6 1/4. I can just do 6 1/4 because remember, we need a space for the flat piece. You could also do this like this. This is why I don't like to glue it down right away, because you have a lot of options. So where this could open out this way. Okay. So I haven't decided yet, but I do know I want to do something else here. So let's go ahead and trim this down first to 8 inches. Right now this is 12 by 12, so we're going to just trim it down to 8. That way we have the correct height that we're going to work with. And then I said 6 1/4. Okay. And then we also know that we need a 1/4. We just score it at 1/4 to create that flap to glue it down. All right. So go ahead and fold it under. Okay. I'm thinking I want to make a pocket here as well. Okay, so we'll go ahead and trim this to 8 1/2 as well. Actually, I'm going to do 8 and 1. No, 8 1/2. 8 1/2. Okay, and then from here, we can do this way. And let's do a big one so we can really tell. Kind of eyeball, find the center. Okay, so then we can tell that it's going to be a pocket here. So when we bring our album back, I know I need to commit. Originally, we had this going this way, right? We could do, we could do a pocket here, and we could make this pocket into a gusset to make a slide-in book. I've been wanting to do that, so hold on. Let's do, let's do a 1/2 inch. So we'll make it a smaller book. 1/2 inch on each side. And I'll show you what I mean. Okay, we're going to trim, miter the corners. Go ahead and score. And I'm trying to see, do I want to, I think I might want to trim this down. Yeah, let's trim this. Let's see. This is going to measure 7. Okay. Let's commit. Let's do the bottom first. I want to see. This is here. So I want it to flip. Do we want it to flip? Yeah. Yep. Gonna center it here. Okay. Smooth it out, and then go ahead and glue your sides. And then just secure the sides. So now when you put this into your album, and I'm about to start to commit so I don't get lost in this design. We have this one. It's going to go this way and ultimately fold out. This can go this way and fold out. And actually, yeah. And then that leaves a whole back element still for you to add stuff. So then this can actually fold over like this. Okay, let's lock it in before I change my mind. And I am going to center it here. Okay, and let's get this one locked in. Okay, so we have a pocket here, page, we have this side to set up, then we have this fold out element here, and then both of these flip, and then it folds out. Okay. Let's see, do we want to do anything here? I don't know. We still have this piece we wanted to use, and we have this little scrap that we can do something with as well. I mean, we can make a pocket here, actually. I think we should do that. And just put glue along these sides. Very thin layer. Goal is to always try to use up as much of your paper as you can. And then I like to just give it a little bit of a pinch on the sides so that you can tell that it is a pocket, more of a tuck pocket. And you can always round off these corners. And then I have this piece. What can we do with this piece? Pocket, pocket. This flat. We could potentially do another longer flap that kind of goes over this, that we maybe can turn into a closure. So if we did that, it would be attached here. We would close everything over and then fold. So let me give this an inch with a little gusset. A 1/2 inch to secure it. Let's do a 1/2 inch to secure it with a 1/4 inch gusset, just to give it some room to bend over all those pieces. So you see that it has this little space. We call that the gusset. And what that does, it just creates this little piece that then when I go in here, go all the way to the back, and I would glue it on this first section, and it has this little like hump to close everything off. So I'm gonna do it a little off center so that it can secure everything. Okay. So let's do it like about right here. Okay. So then when you close everything up, remember I want to do like a little booklet here. This will then be able to hold it secure, and we'll figure out a closure later. But if you can see, it has some space. So if this gets chunky and bulky, it will be able to still stretch over that nicely. So the next thing, I think, I still have tons of space to work again in this album. We've only done just the back cover. We still have a 2-inch spine to work with, and then we still have this whole other side. But I really like I'll show you this guy that I created. Similar concept with just some cardstock. And this is kind of what it looks like after it has been decorated. But I want to give you the idea of like what the possibilities are in terms of adding interactive pieces to it. So as you can see, it's just a basic journal or album. Not even an album. I would say this is like a folio. And again, a piece folds out, another piece folds out. You've got some flaps in the middle, some smaller flaps. So remember when I talked about like working the spine? All of these right here is just in the spine. So I can go and add all of these pieces to our gray album for flaps or pictures. And then even a larger, have all these bands because I haven't figured out the closure for this yet. Then these are, again, just larger pages. By the way, if you're a Vicki Boutin fan, these are her elements. And then remember how we just added that gray closure? How we just added this little flap here, right? Similar, this is a smaller version of that, but I just added a little sliding piece. So when I say we'll figure out the closure later, that's kind of what I mean in figuring out the closure. So this may not look like anything right now, but by the time we get through adding all of the things, it's going to look like a totally different album. So going back here, so again, we've only used one sheet of the 12 by 24 cardstock, and I mean, we've really used it up. There's literally only these little pieces left, and that's what I love is when you can use like all of the elements. So in total, I used one of those sheets for the outside cover, one for the inside cover, and one for this interactive piece. I have some scraps of it laying around somewhere. I just haven't, I think here are some of them. So let's pull these out. Okay. You can see I use this as some background paper, but again, if you're going to glue stuff on it, it does not matter. Okay, so I could, like we said, this is, where's my tape measure? Okay, so this is about 6.5. We'll just straighten it up. Let's go ahead and do that right now. I think we need 6 1/4 to be even. Okay, so we've got it 6 1/4, and then by 8.5 is the height. Okay. Here's our album. Well, actually, no, we're going to make it 8 to fit in here. And then I'm thinking I might just make a simple, I'll show you how we do the simple flaps. Okay, so 8. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to score at 1/4. You could do either 1/2 or 1/4. I'm going to do 1/4. Okay. And you're just going to, again, score and then something like this, you would just simply glue it in. You can glue it in this way. It doesn't really matter. I don't think it matters which direction, but I'm going to just go this direction for now. And again, there's little spots on here, but when I get through using the journaling kit, you won't even be able to see those. So that's why you can just literally use every single piece of cardstock, okay? Don't get it too close to the edge because you want it to still be able to fold close. And make sure it is secure down. Okay. So then I have one flap there. Okay, if you wanted to, you could add a pocket here with this leftover piece or a tuck spot. You could do a belly band. I'm going to go ahead and trim this down and make it a pocket. I think this is like 6, but I'll just make a little mark so I know where to trim. Oh, looks like my blade needs to be changed. Okay, so we're going to switch. I'm going to use my guillotine cutter, and then I'll just use this board to score. I actually prefer my guillotine. It just makes a lot of noise. But it cuts the paper like butter, usually. There we go. Okay, so we would take that, and it still needs to be cut a little bit more. Okay, and again, just like with the other one, just add some glue along the very edge. For your pocket. And secure it down. Okay, so we have that element there. We have what's left. This piece measures 12 by what's that? 12 by 12? 12 by 8.5. Okay, so we could do 2 more flaps. Let's just do 2 more flaps. So let's cut this down. I said this was 12. So let's cut him in half. Actually, let's do the 8 first. 8. And then we will do the 6. Should be 2 6s. 6. 2 6 by 8 pieces. And we're going to score them both at the 1/4. Okay, so let's score and score. Score here at 1/4. And score this one at 1/4. Okay. And so now we've added 3 pages to our spine. Well, once we glue these in, we would have added 3 pages to our spine. Okay. And do the same thing. You can line it up here. And I like to leave space in between because you can always come back and add more pages to it. The other thing I could have done, if I didn't want to, well, not so much on this side, but I could have maybe done some top flaps. I just like to line it right up against where the other one is. Okay. So now you've got 2, and then make sure you give the glue some time to adhere when it's still wet. Okay. And if I wanted to just cut 3 more strips, I could cut 3 more strips and then just line them going the opposite direction. And the cool thing about it is each one of these can also become an interactive element, just like we did over on this side. You can add flip ups, flip downs, something else can flip out. Like, there's so many options, and I probably will add more stuff once I start adding the journaling kit to this, because who knows what it is. And then I still have this whole other side to definitely work with. So let me see if I have any other scrap grays laying around. I've got plenty of scrap paper, but I'm gonna try to stick with this gray palette. Some smaller pieces here. Okay. We have this little strip. We could do a belly band. Got this. We could do some pockets or a flip up like we did on the other one. We didn't end up doing the flip out, so we could do that as well. Let's see. Like if I want to do, like you saw in the example that I showed you, bring that back over. In the center, we have these little ones too. So we've got these little pages, we've got flaps going this direction. So those are all the different ways that we can use. So again, trying to use up all of our scraps. We could cut this. Let's see how big this one is. Okay, so this is a little less than 12. So we could do a 5.5, and 5.5 is an 11, and then score it. Okay, so let's do 5.5. Okay, and this one measures, here's 5.5. Okay, so we've got 2, 5.5 pieces. Let's score them as well at the 1/4. Go here and here. Okay, we'll score those. Bring over our album. So we could do one here. Give it a little space in between each one so I can line one up with the top and line one up with the bottom. Okay, let's do that. All right, and then line one up at the bottom. Okay. And then we just have a little space in between to do that. Clean up your glue. Again, you're not going to see that once you start like gluing down all your elements. All right, so now we've got some flaps here. Okay, if you wanted to add a pocket to one of these, you could, or like a little tuck spot, you could do that. You could add a pocket to the corner over here, or we can save this, and once we start to do our decorations, we could also add another pocket here. Okay, so we can save that piece. Let me see. Do I have any other gray lying around in here? I think I may have used up all my pieces, which is fantastic because we don't want to be wasteful, especially when making albums, because sometimes, especially with the 6x8 albums, using a 12x12 or bigger paper, you're always going to have some types of scraps left. So let's review where we are right now. Let me move this so we can get a better view of it. So we have our basic album. And again, this album, when we first started, was just a front cover, spine, back cover. It has like a 2-inch spine. And then we started with adding an interactive element to the back, which we created kind of a closure flap that we will figure out how to secure the closure. And it could be something even as simple as like adding some magnets to the bottom that we do the other magnets somehow tucked in here. And then it will just snap that way. I may do that actually, just put the magnets. I'll show you how I do my magnets in a second. We added a pocket that I want to create like a little mini booklet that comes in and out. Maybe it's a journal that goes into that talks about the photos that we're going to include here. We added a flap that folds out this way that has a down flap with a pocket, a top flap, okay, a page here that can add photos, and then it's more of like a little accordion that it folds out. And then don't forget, you also have this back real estate here on both the top and the bottom. this real estate here, and then we also have this flap. So I think it's pretty cool. And this is just the one side that we added. So we close this up, we close back our little booklet insert, and then we have our closure flap here. And then we added in some pages to our spine. This particular one has a pocket right here. We've got this real estate for things. We've got this real estate, this one, this one, this one, and then we have these two flaps. We still have a good inch left of the spine that we can add, and we could simply just repeat this. Like I probably would just take 3 more pages and have them fold out this direction, and then we still have this front element. Some options could be to add another pocket. Here's another basic album that we have that has this little flip pocket here where you can put things. So like, again, this is for our trip. If I had like receipts or something like that I would want to slide in there, I could do that as well. So we could just figure this part out. Let's go ahead, because I want to finish this off. I do have some gray that has been used. So I am going to just cut this at 12 and work with the 12 by 12 piece, which should give us 2 more of those 6 by 8 flaps, right? Let me see. Let's cut it this way. Get rid of this. Yep, it is perfect at 12. Okay. So I'm going to cut, first of all, it needs to be 8 inches high. Okay. So let's get our 8 inches. And then we said 6 and 6. So let's go 6 and this should be both 6. Yes, okay. While we're here, let's plan. Oh, we did the 2 flaps, right? And those were, well, we'll come back to that. Let's come back. Let's score and attach 2 of these. So we're going to again score at the 1/4 along the side. Score at the 1/4 here. Okay, and we're gonna score at the 1/4 here. Okay, so it's a little bit. Let's go. I don't think that one was quite 1/4, but it'll work. Doesn't have to be perfect. Okay, so we have these. So let's go ahead and add these in. And I think, remember this one that had the pocket. So we ended up actually with 3. And then I do have these, which they are a little larger. So we could trim these down, or we could just do 1 flap. We'll figure it out. I'm going to just go from right here. Okay. See, I glued that in so crooked. Let's do, yeah. See if I can straighten it out. Because I'm going to end up, when I'm gluing down all the decorative papers and clusters and stuff, figuring out how to cover the exposed spine. So I'm not even going to worry about that. So let's just make sure that these go in straight. So then I don't have to worry about it. Okay, I think that's pretty good. So we got 1. Let's see. This one, It's gonna just go up against that. Yeah, you can totally see. I don't know how I glued that so crooked. Okay, get this one in. And okay, line it up. Here we go. Oops. One thing about using the wet glue is it does give you, a few seconds to readjust where things go. So that is always cool. Okay, those are really straight. I don't know what happened over here with these two. Maybe it moved. Y'all see that? That is crazy. It's, yeah, I don't know. I don't know what happened. But you know what? When it comes time to decorate, I will work that part out. So maybe I'll just do a bigger one here, is what I'm thinking. Let me score this first because then it'll help me with knowing like where to trim it down. Yeah, let's do that. So let's score it here. Okay, let's see. Oops. Sorry, Live is making me verify that I'm still here. Had to drag the puzzle piece. Hopefully you can hear my audio. Okay. So if I do this, I think I want to go, see, because that is so crooked. Kind of like covering that up. Here, so then these will go to about here. I may end up taking those out, you guys, because it is really bugging me. Like, I can't with this crookedness. And then re-gluing them down. Yeah. Let's take this. Just carefully tear that out. I've taken apart an entire album before, so I think it's this one. Oh, maybe it's this one. This one started in the crookedness. Okay. I'm going to just take the flaps out here. My AirPods has a low battery. Let's see if we can switch the audio. It's only one of them, so the other one should still be okay. I'm almost done. I mean, I could do this and kind of make like a little, let's see what that looks like. If I do this at 8, no, this way it goes to 8. Let's see how we can fix this. Oh, I forgot it's not working. Let me cut this off camera real quick. Okay, we want 8. Okay, so that's the height. If I score this here, like so, then I could just make a shorter here. And I think that would help. So we're going to go with that. And then we'll review this one more time so you can see what progress we made, and then we will call it a night. Please keep it straight on one side, yeah. And again, you won't even recognize this once we get done. Okay, so we have our spine done. And yeah, I think with this, I'm going to end up just doing like some kind of a pocket. Let's see. Let's move this out of the way. So we started again with just a blank album, using some chipboard and some 12 by 24 cardstock to create a seamless cover. Okay. The inside cover was also used, the 12 by 24, to create the seamless. Do y'all see this? This shifted. I'm going to end up fixing this off camera because here's part of the culprit. From there, we started with the back interactive element and we added a flap that will become a closure. I think I'm going to add some magnets to this. We have a pocket that you can slide something in. The plan is to slide in like a little mini journal in there. Space for photos here. Another flip up element. This one has a pocket. Flip it down. This one is an accordion kind of fold out piece, right? It opens this way, but then it also opens this way. And then you still have the entire back piece here that you can add something to. This also could be a closure if you wanted to tuck that, but it doesn't go that way. Okay, so you close this here. This will be our closure. We have in our spine, we have a page that has a pocket here. All the real estate here. You've got this page, this page, this page. Okay, we added kind of in the middle a shorter page, but you'll have some ideas for this. Then we've got some more pages over here and here. Okay, and then we still have this part that we're going to set up. And again, I think I'm just going to create a pocket that is just simply this. It's like a flap closure using magnets for that part. So if you are interested in getting the measurements just to create the basic album, you can click the link in the bio. I created this little one-page PDF that walks you through what the measurements are for each piece. It's totally free. Just click the link to go and download it. And then if you have any questions, make sure you comment below. If you haven't already, please give me a follow. I really would appreciate it. And I can't wait to share with you the final decorated album.